This is last episode making Easter crafts, and today we're gonna make super fun and contemporary Easter eggs and Easter ball. It's very trending topic right now on Instagram, and I saw a lot of ideas how to decorate your Easter eggs, and this specific idea caught my eye, and I'm really interested in trying this. So stay tuned. Let's get started. A dough. We're gonna also need eggs. I got those on sale in Joann's. We will need 2 sticks. The thickness gonna depend from you. I will explain later. If you don't have a wood, you can also use the book in desired thickness. I'm gonna explain later what we need that for. We also gonna need clinch foil and a ball of the size you want, and Amazon box or any box. So if it's not confusing yet, oh, I forgot about the white paint and also Sharpie. So if it's not confusing yet, stay tuned, you'll find out what we're gonna be doing. And we're gonna start with the order so everything can dry and we can keep a flow. So let's get started. Project number 1. We're gonna first start with making ball because we're gonna let the clay dry. This is air dry clay. So we're gonna start with making the ball. We're gonna put ball aside and we're gonna work on our Easter eggs. So we don't need paint for sure, and we don't need balloons, so let's put everything we don't need aside. We're gonna keep the foil, we're gonna keep a roller, we're gonna keep the ball, and we will keep clay as well as either books or with a thickness you want, or like I have 2 sticks. I do a lot of arts and crafts, so trust me, I have everything at home. So we're gonna start with that. So that's the materials which we need for the ball. I will use this mat specifically to roll my clay on it, and I'm using this mat specifically for arts and crafts. I don't combine them with cooking, obviously. So I'm gonna protect my area using my mat. You can do whatever you want to. Clay is easy to wash with the water later, so if you wanna use your counter, it's also fine. You can put some foil and just roll it, but generally the clay which I'm using, I don't know where is it, oh, it's right over here. Generally the clay I'm using, once you're done working with it, you can use just the sponge with soap and water. It's not gonna damage your surface, it's totally safe, but because I'm doing that in studio on my desk, I'm gonna use this mat. So, why we need those sticks? We need consistent thickness for our ball. So we basically gonna put the sticks down and we gonna roll it over those sticks. So our piece of clay will be exactly same thickness. So let's get to it. As you noticed, I'm rolling on those two, and again, you can use the books. I would probably say just secure your books maybe with the foil so they're not gonna get a clay on them. But books are also great, or magazines, or even old magazines you can stack up. They will be really, really good for you to decide and help you with consistent thickness. Again, it happens that I have those because I do a lot of arts and crafts. So I have those pieces of wood at home, but it can be literally anything. And see how easy it is. It was very fresh clay. I just opened it for the charm necklace if you watched my previous video. And the clay was very soft, very fresh, very easy to roll and work with. My clay is ready. So the next step is to choose the ball in a size you really want to create your new contemporary ball. For me, I'm gonna try this, and this is first time trying this project. I worked with clay before, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. But again, I saw this on some Instagram reels, which are just few seconds. The rest of it, you have to figure it out, obviously. So we will, once everything is ready, we will cover the ball with a foil. It seems like the size of my clay is perfect because it's bigger than my ball is, and I'm just gonna cut so we're basically covering and securing our ball. I don't want my ball to be even. So for now, what I'm gonna do, I want like shorter and long. I didn't explain that earlier, but I want shorter and longer edges. I want very uneven, fun, contemporary looking shape. So I want to cut excess of it. This is modeling knife, but you can use the kitchen knife. You really don't need to have the tools I have. Kitchen knife would be absolutely fine. So you just decide what kind of edges and what shape you want. So I want to be kind of like on a round side, and shorter and very uneven, because I'm going to be using it for different store different things in it. So as you see, I cut very uneven, fun looking edges, and you don't have to do what I'm doing. You do what you imagine and what fits your space. And I'm gonna stack some of the paper, a foil, I'm sorry, to create kind of like the ruffles. So this foil I also use to create some ruffles. I want very uneven, very much like open kind of flowery. So this helps me. I'm gonna stick it under the foil, which already is there, to create this kind of like a ruffly shape. And take your time, you don't have to rush. This clay doesn't dry fast, it's gonna take a while, so you have time to experiment with it and play with it and decide about the shape. So again, I didn't want a huge ball, I just want it to be not too flat and not too even. So under the other foil, I'm sticking this one to create this fun shape. Make sure though that this is flat. You don't want your ball to wiggle later. Okay, I think I like what I see right now, and the next step would be to take a water and soft brush and kind of smooth out these raw edges. You want your ball to be nice and smooth. So you just basically, you see like those, you can use your fingers, it doesn't have to be brush. You can use your fingers and kind of smooth out those edges. The better job you're gonna do with smoothing, the less sanding you're gonna have later on, and the more finished look the ball will have. So you basically go with the water around the edges, just like this, and you smooth everything out. At some areas I just pressed a little bit too hard, so you can see my fingerprints on it, but this is process which can be reversed, and you basically just run your fingers just like that over your ball, and in the bigger areas you can use the brush to smooth everything out just like that. Take your time, because once it dry, and obviously you can sand it later, but you do not want to have a lot of sanding and dust going on, so I would suggest to put a little bit extra time now so you have less work later. And next step is to create the eggshells for our candles. So you're probably wondering why I didn't use this to hold my eggs for painting. The reason for it is because I need that to hold my plaster eggs. So let's get started. For this part, we're gonna need water, and we're gonna need a paintbrush, and we're gonna need the plaster. And balloons! I forgot about the balloons. You have to blow your balloons in the size you want. So I'm gonna do few of this size and few little bit smaller to create the holders for our candles. So you can do as many as you want to. I'm gonna do 5 and I will show you how to do that. We will start with cutting a plaster. And if you watched my previous videos, the smaller object you have, I would suggest to cut smaller pieces. It's easier to control where you want them to go and distribute them and create the shape you want. So I'm just gonna cut thin long slices first, and then I'm gonna cut squares. I want to have variety of sizes and shapes. So see, I'm gonna create 2 different thin slices and squares. So let's do that. And this plaster is leftover from my previous project, and I use it really a lot. It's available on Amazon. There is different sizes of packages. I think pack of 2 is $16, but I will link everything in description below. So it's very easy material to work. It dries super fast. It's a little bit messy, but oh well. But I think it's really fun process. And in the minute, we're gonna create our egg shape for our candles. As you see, I'm gonna use everything because it's not that much left. And if not, I will just save it for another project. It's never gonna get wasted. So our bow is drying and will be ready tomorrow. And bow will dry kind of off-white color. You can paint it if you want to, any color you want. I potentially will consider painting it white, but I will see. This is the first time I'm making a bow, so I will see how it's gonna dry. Usually I do, when I'm using plaster, I add a little bit paint to it, but this time I didn't, so maybe I'm just gonna like natural color. So that's what we have, and we have a soft paintbrush with the water here. I'm gonna secure my spot with a paper towel because I know it's getting kind of like messy and it's gonna be easier for me to clean later. Set up my eggs in the tray. I cut off excess of the ending of the balloon because it was making my eggy to pop. And we're gonna place them upside down because as you see in a minute, we're not gonna cover the bottom half of the egg. So we're just doing the top half because they're gonna be holders for our candles. So I'm doing them in different sizes. They're actually funny. That was from my Grinch cake smash in studio. And I'm gonna do 2 on the smaller side. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna stick balloons this side down, space them out. There we go. Because we don't want them to touch each other. And you can even like, see they don't wanna sit. So I will just remove this part, yeah. And it's way easier. They're very light because they're small. This one actually was okay. I'm gonna cut this one. Maybe I will cut this one actually because it sits funny. And it's being annoying, and I have 1 more. So I'm gonna do 5 for a starter. I never did that before, so that's a fun experiment for me. There we go. Alrighty. So basically you dip the plaster in the water and you put it on top of the egg. And you smoothen it with a brush if you want to. because I'm gonna put candles in it, I want to make sure that, and now I'm gonna kind of like push down so the edge of the egg is a little bit thicker. Just like that. Maybe one more. Oopsies. I still see the green on top. There we go. I love working with plaster. It's just so much fun. It's messy, yes, it's messy. If you don't like to get messy, then yeah, that might be not your thing. But other than that, it's really fun. Okay, our bowl is drying. Our egg candle holders are drying, and it's time to go back and decorate the eggs. If you choose different color than white, you obviously have the idea in your head how you're gonna decorate it. I'm doing this batch black and white. I did traditional Easter eggs. If you're gonna look 3 videos back, and this ones I want to be very contemporary, fun. So this time we will be using eyelashes. And I am not really eyelash person, but I had those since, I don't know, 5 Halloweens, and I didn't even open the box, so I'm not sure if eyelashes expired or not. But I know I will never use them because I changed my mind about my Halloween costume as well. So we're gonna be using eyelashes, and this is the part when you're gonna find out what we're gonna be doing with the eyelashes and our Easter eggs. So I'm assuming the process will be fairly similar to applying lashes. We will need tweezers, and we might potentially cut one lash in a half because our egg is small, so I think one lash will be enough to decorate one egg. And add some super glue on it. There we go. We're gonna take my egg and we will apply one lash to it. There we go. Where's the other one? Oh, found it. I'm gonna do the same thing. Swipe it with a glue and apply on the other side. Well, if applying lashes on the egg is so hard, I can only imagine how challenging it could be to apply them on yourself. Okay, here we go. That's the egg number 1. That's what we're doing with eyelash. I like it how it looks like, and again, I told you I want to decorate this batch of eggs very simple, modern and contemporary because I did something more traditional in the previous video. So next step would be working on a first batch of our eggs. So I think I'm gonna mark half of the egg is using masking tape. To get the idea where we have a middle. Yeah, there we go. It's just temporary, and I'm gonna start with just different designs, and you can do whatever you want to. And I'm using just a Sharpie, and it's going to be plain black and white. I hope you guys enjoy my bonus idea for the moss covered eggs, and that was leftover from my Easter bunnies. I had some moss which I picked up on the walk with my dog, and I decided to give you like a bonus fun arts and crafts for decorating Easter eggs. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Happy Easter everyone, have fun, and I will see you next week.